What month is it?
May.
May I put these nuts in your mouth?
Oh my god! 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 I beat it! Yes!
Bruh.
Holy fuck. Dude, please. Please, dude, oh my god. I beg. Please, let me be done. Please, can I just get lucky? No! 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 I rushed it. No! No!
Fucking kidding me! Fuck!
Someone make me a picture right now. Picture like the north or the south tower. CoIV 9/11. Recreating it right now! Right into floor 9. There we go.
I'm the best Freddy Fazbear.
Hold my microphone.
Hey guys, I'm just going to be talking about my experience with Tower of Eternal Void during the video, so I don't have to type out a whole essay in the description just to keep it short. And I'll talk maybe through the first few floors, I don't know, for the people who are watching the premiere. First off, I just wanted to give a huge thanks to the people who supported me throughout this grind. It was really tough for me, and I appreciate the people who have been there during the streams, and even the people outside of my streams. I actually still find it really funny that I beat this tower on stream, which is a really awesome feeling because there are so many people in chat rooting me on. The link for that stream will be in the description if you want to check that out. I can basically just use that as my raw footage for this tower anyways, so. Moving on to my experience with CoIV itself, this tower was an absolute nightmare for me, but it was a different consistency tower to grind than any of the other ones I've beaten. I'm still not sure why. I feel like it may be because this is a new hardest for me, but grinding this tower felt different than my grinds with like Tower of Elongated Runs, Tower of Infernal Galore, and even Tower of Punishment, even though I kind of did like half that tower. I'm not even sure why I even started playing this tower again, when my greatest weakness in hobbying is wall hops. I suck at wall hops, like I'm really bad at them, and this tower is just absolutely filled to the brim with them. There's literally an entire floor just of wall hops in general. That floor 5, was actually the first main struggle that I had with this grind. Before the main grind even started, I actually had an older grind with this tower where I had failed 14 times before I called it quits because I wasn't trying to deal with that shit anymore. Throughout the grind though, the floor got decently consistent and I was able to pass it more often. There were a couple jumps I still I struggle a bit with them. Other than that, most of my fails on 5 near the end of the grind were just silly fails. Speaking of silly fails, y'all remember that silly 10 end fail that I had on stream? Yeah, that was another struggle with the grind, dealing with a fail like that. Before all that even happened, I did have another 10 run that was a fluke from the middle of floor 8, but I unfortunately walked off a thin stud. Yeah, fun. After that fail though, that's where the grind started to get really dumb for me, and I had a lot of floor 8 and 9 fails, including this one, until I was able to get back up to 10 again, which was that fail I was talking about. Another thin stud, yippee. Wait, Vero, you got 3 fails on 10, where was the third one? Yeah, Yeah, so I kind of failed another Earth instead, but we don't talk about that. Going into my final day of the grind, I was really frustrated because those last 2 10 fails were literally on the previous day. I felt like I was starting to lose my consistency for a bit, so I went into the day literally expecting to only fail 5. But I ended up actually beating the whole tower after a nice little session of Ink game. My overall fail count was 5 times 45. I actually didn't fail 6 a single time, so 6 times 0. I failed 7 twice, 8 11 times, 9 7 times, and 10 3 times. Now, some of the top players who have already beaten this tower are going to be like, oh, you got so lucky on this tower, only because they had hundreds of fails on every floor. But you can probably consider me the luckiest Jato player since I can beat towers super quickly. My longest grind being literally like 2 weeks, and I knocked this tower out in 8 days. But in my mind, that grind was pretty unlucky for me. I had a total of 11 floor 8 runs, and that for me was a lot, but only because CoIV was a pretty long tower and it took a bit to get back up to floor 8 each time. Overall opinion on CoIV, I think it's a 4 out of 10. It honestly wasn't the worst tower I've ever beaten. There's towers I think that are worse, but this is definitely a tower that is in a bad category in terms of enjoyment. The design is alright, it's an old tower, so there's nothing really to know on the design. I will say though, if you are watching this and are planning to grind CoIV in the future, I will tell you this, it's going to be painful regardless. If you've looked CoIV, that's fucking awesome. Like, that must be an insane accomplishment. But if you don't, unfortunately, you are most likely gonna have some bad luck with some bad fails and probably some crash out moments like I did. Let me tell you that. And floors 1 through 4, oh my god, they're gonna be the most boring floors you'll ever play in a tower 2. And the nerves you get on floor 10 are insane, so make sure you have some good nerve control on that floor because it's the longest floor and it's got some pretty bad gameplay. But if you are grinding CoIV in the future, I wish you the best of luck. I think you can do it. Anyways, guys, enough talking for now. I'm not even sure what floor I'm on right now, but thank you for tuning in. And if you're watching the premiere, thank you so much, and enjoy the rest of the video. I will see you guys at the end of the video. Bye. I did it! Yes! 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 Oh my god! Yes! Oh my god! Oh my god! Yes! 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 Oh my god, I did it! Yes! 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 Yes, dude! Yes! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! Holy shit! Oh my god! Yes! Yes! Oh my god! Oh my god! Yes, dude. Dude, I thought I was gonna fail again. Low-key, I thought I was failing again. Oh, what? Okay. Oh, ooh, interesting moment right here. Oh my god, I would have been in the tower. Oh my god. Oh my god, I beat it. Oh my god. I would have killed myself.